I think it's fair commentary to accuse big business in this country of pandering to the green elites and the political correct brigade to win over public support. We saw it time and time again during the year. It's become a basic tenet for corporate governance, but of course it's so transparent it's not funny. But I like what I read today from BP's retiring worldwide CEO, Bob Dudley, who's not setting out to appease climate change scaremongers, but just telling it as it is. Mr Dudley has accused campaigners and politicians of oversimplifying the climate change crisis. He said the world would not even come close to replacing fossil fuels with renewables in the next 2 decades. Not even close. And please, teachers, tell your students these facts. BP forecast that if the world continues to tackle climate change at its current pace, oil, gas and coal will still account for 73% of energy consumed by 2040, 73%. And even under a rapid transition along the lines of the Paris Agreement, they'll account for about 56%. Now, that gives you a real comparison between the baseload abilities of oil and gas versus the frail capabilities of renewables. It also reminds us of the impact of an inflated global population by 2040. We'll have 2 billion more people to contend with. We'll need to source, he reckons, a third more energy, more demand for baseload power. Unreliable wind and solar just won't cut it. Of course, these realities have seen BP under enormous pressure, virtually under the pump, so to speak, for the likes of Extinction Rebellion. Yes, that mob. As the Times reported this week, BP was even dropped as a sponsor by the Royal Shakespeare Company. But Dudley went on to say the epicentre of climate change really is there's a coal-fired power plant starting up every week in 8 countries in Asia. So the perspective in Australia and the United States is different to Asia. You're not wrong. He believes to meet the Paris targets, the world will need transition to natural gas from coal. Not renewables from coal, natural gas. Now, that makes sense because, for a start, natural gas has half the CO2 emissions of coal. But tell that to the black or white absolutist greenies who want to shut down coal and gas immediately to rely on unreliable renewables. It is a climate change fairy tale based on no understanding whatsoever of the demand for energy or what's able to keep the lights on and our economies surviving. Bob Dudley knows his stuff, which is why he gets paid the big bucks, and I mean big, like almost $50 million per year. BP simply supplies the world's thirst for moving from point A to point B. They know what constitutes reliability and they know what will constitute reliability into the future. And until we have a massive technological breakthrough in battery storage, renewables cannot compete with coal or gas, and as he says, not even in 2 decades' time. I think it might be time the climate moralists accepted these realities.